Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Vivian.
I'm sharing.
What the goddamn hell's happening here? Yes, so am I. That's me cocking it up. What the fuck is happening? Is that better? I hate computers. I hate computers. Vivian, hello. Richard, hello.
Lorenzo, hello.
I'm not sure what's happening. I still hear music,
Hello,
which is particularly good. So we've got a
hello.
real treat for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, because hello, we've got an incredible treat for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, because 24 hours ago he was in India filming giant man-eating crocodiles. He got back to his house at 2:30 this morning, and we've got him here before he's even been home 24 hours. My old friend, the one and only Richard Freeman. That's him.
Hi.
Okay, everything's going very weird at the moment because I can still hear the theme music going.
We can't hear it. Have you got it on your iPad or on your phone or anything?
I don't think so. Well, as long as you can all hear it. So can everybody hear each other? Yes, we can. Good. So, Richard, what were you doing in India? What was your plan to go to India?
Well, the French filmmaker Christopher Killian, who I worked with on the Orang Pendek documentary, uh, I had this idea that I ran past him, where we do a TV show where we go through Africa, Asia, Australasia, New Guinea, looking for the world's biggest crocodiles and trying to film them and talking to local people, because in some cases these things are sort of venerated, like there's one in New Guinea that lives in a lagoon and it's been there for 50 years, and the local tribe believe that it's a water spirit that protects them, and what it's doing is chasing other male crocodiles out of its territory. And in other places they're feared as man-eaters, like Gustav in Lake Tanganyika. So in order to get some footage, so uh, Chris can show this to prospective backers, I thought I'd go to Odisha in northeast India, to Tanika National Park, where they've got some immense crocodiles, including a really big one that is known locally as Kalia, which means darkness in the local dialect. Now, there was one in the 1920s that for about 50 years had been a notorious man-eater in the area, and it was finally killed in the 1920s, I think 1925, 1926, and measured at 23 feet. But that name has been passed on to another one that is supposedly even bigger, that, that lives in uh, Bitatanika.
Oh, this is bollocks, isn't it? Say something, Rich. Something. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hello?
Yes, he's back.
Did you get all that?
I got most of it. Go back to the way go back to go back to Gustav and Lake Tanganyika.
Oh, Gustav is a crocodile said to live in Lake Tanganyika, who's in the region of 23 feet long. No one's ever actually measured him, and he's supposed to have killed hundreds of people. He was another one of these giant crocodiles that we're going to go and look for if this series gets off the ground. So the whole idea is to show prospective backers that we can find these giant crocodiles and film them. So hopefully, if we get the footage, the series has got a better chance of getting off the ground.
So, did you find any giant crocodiles?
Well, I thought I'd have to really search for days through these trackless mangrove swamps, but we entered the swamp in a boat with the guide and the guy that was operating the boat, and the first crocodile we came across was Kalia, the giant crocodile. That's the first one we saw, and we actually went past it. It was in the water with only its head and back showing, and we saw it was a huge crocodile, and the guy said, that's Kalia. So we had to turn around and go back. Now, as we turned around, we saw another smaller crocodile on the bank, which was about 7 feet long, which was useful to gauge the size of Kalia against. And when we got back, Kalia had crawled out of the river and was on the bank, and it was lying on the bank with its tail curved around. And I was filming this, and we filmed it on the bank, and then it stretched out and slipped back into the water again, so I could get a good view of it all stretched out. And the head to body ratio was about 7.5. So that is, the head was about went into the body 7.5 times. So the body was 7.5 times as long as the head. The head was about 1 meter long, and as well as being long, it was very broad and very deep, and the whole animal was immensely bulky. So I gave a conservative estimate of 24 feet for this animal. It was very dark slate grey, almost black above, but the lower jaw and the belly were a sort of dirty white. The broadness across its back was like a dining room table. As it slipped down into the water, the slide mark it left on the bank was like someone had driven a car into the river. It was enormous, and we managed to see it on a little occasion as well, but it was just its head and back in the water. But as well as this particularly big one, there were other very big crocodiles. There were several others we saw in a 20-foot mark, including one that was swimming past a boat, which was a good gauge of measurement for it. So there were several 20-footers. There were several that were in the 18-foot range, quite a few that were in the 14 to 16-foot range, and lots of smaller ones. I counted about 109 from tiddling little 18-inch hatchling to a 24-foot giant. So the population there is immense. It's a really big, healthy population, and the area has been protected since 1974.
And these would be Indo-Pacifics? Would these be Indo-Pacific crocodiles?
Yes, these are Indo-Pacific crocodiles, Crocodilus porosus, aka saltwater or estuarine crocodiles, the biggest of all the crocodiles.
If you've got a creature that's 24 foot long, how old would it be?
Our guide, who's a local guy who's really good, and he's worked right across India, but he's from that area. He reckons that it's about 75 years old. Now, there is a crocodile, a Nile crocodile, in a crocodile farm in South Africa, who was captured in 1908, as I remember. He's called Henry, and he was captured by an elephant hunter because he was a man-eater. And if he was a man-eater, he'd have had to have been an adult. So he was probably 10 years older than that. So he was probably born in the 1890s, and he's still alive now. So he's something like 136 years old. This they can live immensely long lives. There was a freshwater crocodile in Steve Irwin's Australia Zoo that was, I think, 136 when it passed away.
When you were in Thailand, you fed chicken to an enormous crocodile that was a Siamese crocodile in the Pacific hybrid. How big was that?
Yes, you mean Yai, which is Thai
Yeah,
for
I
big,
think
which was a
that.
really original name for him. That was way back in the that was way back in the year 2000, and it was at the now defunct Samat Pakran crocodile farm. It was a saltwater crocodile, Siamese crocodile hybrid. Yeah, and I fed him chicken carcasses. I got right up close to him. He was 6 meters. He was about 20 feet long. Kalia was considerably longer and way bulkier. His head was much bigger and he was much broader. So he's a much bigger animal altogether. And they had a museum at Bitatinaka, the national park. They had a museum about the mangrove swamps, and they had 3 skeletons of crocodiles that had been found dead in the past in the swamps. One was 19 feet, one was 18 feet, and one was 17 feet, and they all had these great big heads, but none of them came close to the one I saw up on the bank.
How long do they live for? I mean, you spoke briefly about these older ones, but as far as you know, how long can they live for?
Well, they can live over 100 years, and some of them seem to be able to live for over 130 years.
I think possibly when you get to that size and you are the uber predator of the swamp, you're practically indestructible, I would have thought.
Yes, yeah. Well, an average sized saltwater crocodile of about 15 feet, they've been known to kill fully grown Bengal tigers and eat them, and sharks. They don't really have any enemies. There was recently some footage from Borneo of a saltwater crocodile attacking an elephant as it swam across a river. It tried to bite into the elephant's
Jeez,
back, and the elephant was panicking and trumping
That's
again. It got away. It got away, but this croc had targeted an adult elephant. So if you go
just
onto YouTube
crazy.
and type in "crocodile attacks elephant in Borneo," um, you'll see it. And there's the Nile crocodile that we mentioned earlier, Gustav, from Lake Tanganyika in Africa. He's supposed to have been seen by park ranger tearing the throat out of a full-grown hippo.
hi Naomi, hi Bobby. As people come in, Richard, they join in and say hi to us all. So Bobby says electric eels will kill them. I would have thought. Well, could an electric eel kill one of the South American ones?
Not Nile crocodiles, because electric eel, pardon me, recorded to kill spectacled caimans when I've attacked them. But even the blast of an electric eel wouldn't do much against a black caiman, which can grow to 20 feet long.
Just to put this all into perspective, I remember some years ago a giant crocodile was caught in the Philippines and was supposed to be the biggest one ever caught. How big was that?
You're talking about Lolong there. That's the biggest one ever held in captivity, not the biggest per se. Lolong was 20 feet 3 inches.
Jesus. So the one that you saw.
Lolong was supposed to have overturned a raft and decapitated a girl. But when they pumped his stomach, there were no human remains in it. And the guy that saw this happen said, "This isn't the same crocodile. The crocodile that did that was much bigger and darker skin." And the people say that this bigger one, they call it pothole or slasher, they say it's about 28, 29 feet long. And there was one guy that said it came up to a pontoon next to his house because they have floating villages in on Agusan Marsh in the Philippines where all this happened. And in one case, they were so scared of this crazy chickens he had, and it's about a foot shorter than his pontoon. And his pontoon was exactly 30 feet.
Wow.
When you get an animal that ferocious and that enormous, it would be surprising if people didn't worship them as gods, or at least consider them to be local gods.
Oh yes, yes. They're either venerated or feared or both, and they have been since time immemorial. Uh, you've got to look at things like Sebek, the Egyptian crocodile god, and there are lots of crocodile worship cults throughout sub-Saharan Africa and in Madagascar and throughout parts of Asia as well.
I mean, India is a modern country and a 21st century industrial nation. But do the local people in that part of India around that park where you saw the giant crocodile, su- do they have supernatural ideas about it?
No, no, they just think it's a very, very big crocodile. The one that was finally killed in 25 or 26, 925 or 1926, I mean, that had been there, had been eating people for about 50 years. So it was feared as a man eater. But as far as I know, there was no supernatural superstitions about it. And there isn't about these large ones here. But in other places, yes, there are. There's one also in Port Blair, uh, in uh,
You're cutting out, Richard.
the Andaman Islands that was photographed a few years.
Well, the Andaman Islands are somewhere I've
Hello?
always wanted to go. Hi, Rich. We can hear you now. No, we can't. What's happening, Vivian?
I think it's Richard's connection.
Hello, Richard.
There he is. He's back.
Hello.
Hello.
Richard. You've got a question from Nico. In South America, would a green anaconda? What would happen between a green anaconda and a caiman?
Depends on the species of caiman. Most caimans are quite small, and green anacondas eat small ones like dwarf caimans and spectacled caimans, but a big black caiman would just annihilate an anaconda because they can be 20 feet and over a ton.
You got bitten by a green anaconda.
They take down jaguars as well.
Oh,
No, I got bitten by a yellow anaconda and a Burmese python and lots of other snakes.
Well, every man should have a hobby, I think. No, Bobby. Richard came back from India early this morning, and we're very lucky to have. He hasn't even been back 24 hours yet. We've got him on the show, poor bugger.
Richard, are you going to visit as part of your TV show? Will you go to Egypt to the crocodile museum that they have with all the mummified? Would you go or have you been already and seen it?
I've not been. No, that wasn't on the agenda. We were going to go to Lake Chamo in Ethiopia, where there's some very big crocs. Lake Tanganyika, where Gustav is. Down to South Africa to look at this ancient Henry, the ancient Nile croc on the crocodile farm. Then over to India to Beta Tanaka in Odisha, the Andaman Islands to look for the Port Blair giant crocodile. Then on to the Philippines to look for pothole. Then to a couple of places in Australia, the Ord River and another river up in Queensland. And then finally onto New Guinea, where there's this giant that's sort of venerated as a water spirit. That's the plan.
You always wanted to go to a river in Sarawak, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. What was the name of the river? It was where Bujang Senang. There was a killer crocodile called Bujang Senang lived, and he was finally killed in 1992, and he was just over 19 feet long, so very big, about a ton, but certainly no record breaker. But there are still sightings of giant crocs in Borneo as well.
Yeah.
Did you come across any crocodiles when you were a little girl in India, Vivian? Not Richard. You didn't
Not really, but I did see a crocodile in Borneo when I was over there. And this was a wild crocodile that used to swim into an area where tourists would feed it. And so he became part of it's like you book a tour to go and see something, but they go by way of this one crocodile, and he's always there waiting to be fed something. And he wasn't a small crocodile by any means, but then my big crocodile is not necessarily a big crocodile in Richard's terms, to be fair.
What part of India was it?
Borneo.
Sorry?
In Borneo, Richard, that was.
What part of India was it? Oh, Borneo. I thought you said she was in India. Oh, Borneo. Yeah, that'd probably be a saltwater crocodile in Borneo.
Yeah. And he was big, and he did. It's like, and I know they're only reptiles, and reptiles don't have the same kind of feelings, if you like, that we have. But he was very much aware that there was public there, and he did play up for the public. He posed for them, if you like. So I thought that this crocodile was quite clever in the way that it was thinking, well, if I'm here and I just lay here and then just show myself when people come, I might get fed something. You know, it was quite interesting to see the way he interacted, especially with the tour guide. He seemed to call him by a name, and yeah, like it was an everyday pet, you know. But it was wild.
There is a piece of
Crocodiles are
sorry.
highly intelligent animals.
Mm.
They have surprisingly complex behaviour. The Mughar crocodile of India and Sri Lanka has been known to balance bits of wood, branches and stuff on its snout. So when birds come down to perch on them or try and pick them up to build their nests, it grabs them. So it's using a tool to attract the birds. And other crocodiles have been known to kill fish, and rather than eat the fish, they use that fish as bait to attract bigger animals so they can kill and eat them. Nile crocodiles have been known to lie on each other's backs to form living dams, living walls in the water to corral fish. And when they're eating a big animal, will brace it while other crocodiles do the death rolls and spin chunks off, and they all take turns braiding and spinning. So some hold it and some tear bits off and eat, and then they swap round. So they show very and they can watch where people come to the water, what time of day and what area, and then remember it, and then grab them.
Have you seen the death roll yourself? Have you seen crocs do that? And how awesome is it to see it, like, personally?
No, I've never seen them do it in the wild. The ones I've seen in the wild have just been lying around or sliding in and out of the water. Pardon me, but they have the most powerful bite of any animal in the world. Something like 7,000 pounds of pressure per square inch on you.
That is a horrific. Once you start to get your head around that figure, that is horrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
7,000 pounds a square. I've never seen.
Whilst we were there as well, our guide. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I've
never seen what?
Never seen any big wild crocodiles. I saw some medium-sized Nile crocodiles in Kenya, and I saw one tiny alligator wild in Louisiana, but the only alligator I ever saw, everyone said that I'd see him in every pond and every ditch.
Our guide the year before had been.
Hello?
This thing keeps stopping and starting, so I can hardly tell what you're saying.
Okay, ignore me. Tell us about your guide.
The guide said the year before he was walking by some lakes. They have some freshwater lakes in one near the eco centre in the park, and he said he saw a Burmese python of about 8 meters swallowing a spotted deer, and he took some photographs of them, and he showed me the photographs.
Golly. 8 meters, that's it. That's 25 feet.
Yeah.
Golly. Bobby has just said that.
But I'm going to get him to send the photographs along.
I'd love to see those. Bobby's just said that he had a 10-foot crocodile, a 10-foot python in his backyard in Florida recently.
Yes, they're an invasive species over there. They all got out after a hurricane um, from a reptile dealing centre, and now they've grown up into adults and they're breeding and eating most of the animals in Florida. The only thing that can take them down in Florida is an adult alligator.
And there aren't many really big alligators left because they've all been hunted.
Hmm. The biggest one I saw when I was over there was about 12 foot.
That's better than I did. The biggest one I saw was about 18 inches. And good evening, Nettie. So when are you planning to do this TV show?
Well, I'm going to bring you raw footage in the new year. We can send the crocodile footage to Chris, and then he can use it to tout around to the various companies we're approaching with this idea. So it's all down to if anybody bites, pun intended, to this idea.
I
Well,
think it sounds amazing.
I do. I think it sounds like absolutely wonderful thing to do. And you'll see all sorts of other wildlife while you're there, won't you?
Yeah, well, while we were in Bitatinaka, we saw no end of birds. We saw spotted deer, no end of birds, adjacent storks, open-billed storks, painted storks, pond
Oh,
herons, cattle egrets, great egrets, eagles, stork-billed kingfishers, black-capped kingfishers, loads of stuff, and lots and lots and lots of rhesus macaques. And one morning I was having breakfast in the restaurant at the Eco Lodge, and a monkey elbowed its way in through the door, jumped up on the table and stole my breakfast in front of me, grabbed the toast out of my mouth, off of the table, and a load of other food, more than it could actually carry. It dropped the omelette. It couldn't carry the omelette because its arms and mouth and cheek pouches were full. And then it waddled off on its hind legs, elbowed the door open, and cleared off again.
thieving kit.
It was a
Thieving kit.
door. Okay.
It was the Doughty Moonke.
A
So,
daughter, okay, a dirty one.
of all the
Did,
places before you
But
start to
oh,
make the
sorry,
stupid,
carry on.
I was going to say, did you see much in the way of lizards while you were over there in India?
Yes, we saw big Asian water monitors. They were everywhere as well, and spotted deer, chital. Yeah, they were all over the place. Yeah, and we went. Oh, well, I went to another um, national park, Silimpal National Park, but we had a game drive there for 7.5 hours, and all we saw was a handful of birds and some Entellus langurs. And then we were going to go out again the next day, but there'd been a car crash in the park, so it was closed down. So on that day, instead, we went to a supposed crocodile breeding centre where they had a grand total of one mugger crocodile. So good luck breeding that.
Yeah.
was it a very big mugger?
About 10 feet, not particularly big.
No, but they're built like brick shit houses, aren't they? It's cutting out again, I think.
Yes, yes, they are.
So, of all the places that you're planning to go on your TV series, which is the one you want to go to most?
New Guinea, because it's the most untamed, the most poorly explored, and we also have this cultural thing of the tribe venerating the giant crocodile. So I'm interested in all of it, but New Guinea is the most boys' own adventure, pulp fiction place
Nettie says
because it's so.
Nettie says that her ex-mother-in-law loved India, but she was terrified of the lizards.
The lizards weren't the problem, it's the snakes.
I love lizards.
The snakes, the
I
cobra.
love snakes
Yeah.
as well.
Have you ever
Whereabouts in
seen
India
them?
did you live?
Did you ever see anyone kissing the cobra, Richard?
No, we saw no snake charmers at all.
No. It's like kids. They wind the cobra up so its hood is out and it's sitting like this, ready to strike, and they kiss it on its schnoz before it strikes.
Oh yeah, I've seen them doing that. Yeah,
Stupid.
on film. I didn't see it actually happen. In the thing that they do is they move slowly because the snake generally strikes at things that are moving quickly,
Yeah.
but it's still very risky. The bite of a king cobra can kill an elephant.
I think it's an
Mm.
absolutely
And
ludicrously.
they're far
My,
from being the
fa-
most venomous snakes as well.
my father's best friend got bitten by a king cobra, and within 15 minutes from that bite, he arrived at the hospital dead. That's how quick the
Mm.
venom takes. So it's nothing to be sniffed at, to be honest. They're
There's
very
a
dangerous.
snake in there's a snake in Central Australia called the inland taipan,
Yes.
and it's the most deadly snake in the world in terms of it's not particularly aggressive, but the potency of its venom
Yeah.
is something like 20 or 30 times stronger than a cobra's. With venomous snakes, you've got to take into account not only the power of the venom, but how likely they are to strike, because most snakes just want to get out of your way. So, how
Yeah.
aggressive they are, and how often they meet with human beings. And if you
Yeah.
take all three of those factors together, the most dangerous snake is the saw-scaled viper and Russell's viper.
I've heard of the Brussels viper.
Yeah, they have them in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of those species are quite common in India.
Mm.
I
Whereabouts
was
in India?
bitten by a venomous. I was bitten by a venomous snake once
What
on the
happened?
thumb when I was. It wasn't when I was a zookeeper. It was after that. It was when I was working in an exotic pet shop, and I was cleaning out a young Indian kukri snake, and because it was small, it was difficult to handle, and it managed to spin around and bite me in the thumb. But the kukri snake is only mildly venomous, so being saying you've been bit by a venomous snake when you've been bitten by a kukri snake is a bit like saying you've been abroad when you've been to the Isle of Man.
Richard, did it kill you?
Yes, but I got
Yes, I
better.
thought. And good evening, Chantal, my darling. How are you? Because Chantal is in South Africa, Richard. So she's probably
Oh yes,
she's
yeah.
au fait with all sorts of snakes and crocodiles, I'm sure.
So they have the Nile crocodile in South Africa, which is the second largest crocodile, and certainly the most aggressive. There was one measured by a German zoologist called Hans Besser in 1903 in Tanzania that was 25 feet long, but it had about 3 foot of its tail missing, and he reckoned it was bitten off by another crocodile when it was small, and so it would have been 28 feet had it had the rest of its tail, making it approximately the same size as the biggest saltwater crocodile ever recorded.
Bloody hell. Chantal says, we have the black mamba. Basically, if you get bitten, you should put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye.
They're called black mambas because when they open their mouth, the inside of the mouth is black. It's not the actual colour of the snake, it's the inside of the mouth is where it gets its name from.
I didn't know
But a
that.
very, very potent venom. Yeah, they're very potent venom, but they're nowhere near as aggressive as people think in comparison to something like a saw scale viper.
Richard, I saw something where somebody wore some incredibly toughened gaiters and they went out deliberately to step on the tails of snakes to see if they would turn around and try and bite people if you accidentally stepped on one. And very few of them did, but the one that was terribly aggressive when that happened was the one that you mentioned, the
Taipan.
The saw scale viper.
taipan. Yes, the
Oh, the
taipan
taipan.
went mental, whereas
Well,
others weren't
usually
so bothered.
the inland taipan isn't particularly aggressive. But there are several types of taipan. Might have been the coastal taipan.
Okay. Okay.
The thing I didn't realize until recently is that different snakes have venom that kills you or works in different ways. And it implies that actually the venomous snakes evolved
Yeah,
venom at
there's
different
two main
times.
types.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a modified saliva venom, and in venomous snakes you get the elaphids, which are the cobras and the kraits and the mambas and things like that, and their venom attacks the nervous system.
Yeah.
And then you get the viperids, which are the vipers and the rattlesnakes and things like that, and their venom is a hemotoxin, and it attacks the hemoglobin in the blood that transports oxygen, so you get necrosis. So it's different types of venom in two different types of snake.
Would this mean they evolved separately?
Yeah, they evolve separately, and some cobras can also spit their venom
Mm.
because their fangs are hollow.
Yeah.
Vipers' fangs, some of them are hinged like that, whereas the mambas and the cobras have fixed fangs, but some of them can spit and they contract the muscles. Pardon me. Pardon me.
I always get a really bad
Ah,
cough when I
bloody.
come back to England from anywhere warm.
Uh, but yeah, and they act like water pistols. The muscles contract and on the venom glands and shoot the venom out through holes in the fangs, and they spit, and they can spit for over 10 feet, and they aim for the eyes because the venom will break down the corneas in your eyes and blind you unless it's wiped out very quickly. And the reason that so few zoos in Britain keep venomous snakes is because they have to have antivenom for every species that they keep, because you need a different antivenom for different snakes. And the antivenom dries out quickly and then it's useless. So you have to top it up about every 6 months, and it's really expensive. So most zoos, well, the ones in Britain anyway, have phased out keeping venomous snakes. Only a few do it. London, Chester, Westmoreland Safari Park.
I also believe that the insurance, if you're keeping poisonous snakes, is absurdly high.
Yes, I should imagine so.
I've
Do
seen
you,
I've seen the cobra spit the venom at mongoose before the fight happened. So it tried with all the spitting. It's quite interesting to see when it does it. And then the actual fight itself, which then took a couple of hours, but it was a good fight. But yeah, the spitting of the venom, it's like my dad knew it was coming, and he said, watch this, it's going to spit in a minute, and it did.
who won in the end?
Whereabouts in India did you live?
New Delhi. This happened in the gardens. We had quite a big property with some animals on it, and we had a bit of a lovely front garden, which is where we sat on the veranda drinking tea, watching the fight. But yeah, I only ever saw it once in my lifetime, and I'm glad that I did, to be honest, the actual fight that took place. But the mongoose won.
Chantal says our vipers are mostly cytotoxic. Actually, most snakes have a combination of venom types. Bottom line is to hope you can correctly identify what bit you so you can get the correct antivenom.
Yeah.
And Nettie says that her ex-husband said that she could spit venom 50 feet. There's nothing you can say to that, is there?
No.
So where are you planning to go next, Richard? Where's your next expedition planned?
Well, it all depends if this series gets off the ground. But other than that, we're in the early stages of planning a trip to the east of Flores to search for surviving Homo floresiensis, because the anthropologist Gregory Forth, in his book Between Ape and Human, said that the tribes people living in the hills in the east of Flores say that these creatures are still alive and report seeing them. So we're hoping to
Wow.
get out there. You know, funds. It's all dependent on funds and how much it's going to cost. But we're in touch with a Dutch lady who spends a lot of her life in Flores and has got a lot of contacts for sorting practicalities out. So it all depends on funding and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of us, myself, John Hare, Chris Clark, Darren Naish, are possibly going out to Flores.
For people who don't know, Richard, give us
Also, I'd like to do a return. I'd also like to go on a return trip to Tasmania, a fourth trip to Western Tasmania to look for the Tasmanian wolf, and a lot of other people want to do that as well. But again, it's all down to funds.
Richard, for people who may not know, can you give us a brief sort of thumbnail description of what is Homo floresiensis and why is it so important?
I didn't get any of that. You froze up and I didn't hear it.
Okay, Richard, tell us about Homo floresiensis, just in case there's people who don't know.
Homo floresiensis was identified from subfossil remains. That is, that they hadn't fossilized; they were still organic. Discovered in a cave in the west of Flores in 2005. Initially thought to be a dwarf island form of Homo erectus, a paleontologist of the
This is horrible, isn't
hominin
it?
from about 2 million years ago. That up until now, we never knew had left the African continent, but we now know that it had a close relative that not only left the African continent, but was around 50,000 years ago, which is an eye blink in evolutionary terms, on an island from Africa through the Middle East and right across Asia. And more recently, in the Philippines, another very closely related species to Homo floresiensis, Homo luzonensis, was identified. And these were small hominins that stood about a little over 3 feet tall. And on Flores, right across the island, there are stories about these little hairy people that live in the jungle and come out and kill livestock with bamboo spears and steal food and stuff. And the ones from the east of the island are contemporary.
And Flores is in Indonesia, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of the Lesser Sunda Islands.
Isn't it?
It's east of Java. You
Isn't it
also get
one of?
Komodo dragon.
That's what I was going to say. It's one of the 3 or 4 islands that have Komodo dragons.
Can you bring one back home for me?
What, a Komodo dragon or a Homo floresiensis?
A Komodo dragon.
Yeah, if I can get it through custom.
Don't worry about that. Just airmail it.
Just look at that look on
New
Vivian.
Guinea, on New Guinea, there are stories of encounters with lizards several times bigger than a Komodo dragon, but they remain unidentified.
Oh, okay. Can I have one of those as a guard pet, because it's said that even its saliva is supposed to be quite dangerous to us humans, that it's caused a lot of irritations and it is considered
Yes,
venomous,
it
isn't
is.
it?
Yes, it, it stops the blood clotting. So if one bites you, you will continue to bleed. And that's what they do. They kill animals as big as water buffalo by biting them, and then they slowly bleed to death. And the Komodo dragon follows them patiently until they die, and then feeds off the carcass.
Clever little beastie, that is.
I think Vivian wants to go with you.
I do, but I think I'll save myself for when he goes to Japan. Are you going to go to Japan for the clouded leopard at any point?
Oh yes, Japan. We were for it's we were going to go this year, but they were asking £7,000 per person, and they couldn't guarantee you they'd get you the right guides. So we thought, no, we'll leave that to another time and do Flores first. But on Iriomote Island, which is the southernmost of the Japanese archipelago, there's these little islands off the southern island of Japan, the main island of Japan, and Iriomote Island. There are reports of a undiscovered species of cats there. In 1969, they found the Iriomote cat, which is a type of wild cat. It's a subspecies of the Indian leopard cat. It was completely unknown until 1969, but they say there's a bigger one. The Iriomote cat is about the size of a domestic cat, but this one is much bigger, and they say it's striped like a tiger, and it lives in the remote areas of the island. And I think it could be a dwarf island form of the clouded leopard, or perhaps a totally undiscovered species of cat. But nobody knows because nobody's really gone to look for it. And a lot of the island is protected and off limits, so you could only go into the small areas of the protected area, like along rivers and stuff. So we'd have to go with a guide, and then we'd have to see if they'd allow us to set up camera traps with bait and stuff like that, and also do stuff if we couldn't go into the deep areas of the forest, do stuff around the edges of the protected areas as well, with meat and catnip as bait and camera traps. But they said that the guides weren't available when we wanted to go, because you have to go. It's better to go at certain times of year, like outside of the rainy season and stuff. So we'll have to try that at a later date. But
I'll go with you on that.
Afford like £7,000.
I'll go with you on that one, Richard. And when we've finished filming for the cats, we'll hop across and go in search of Pokemon on main island, Japan.
How do you get Pikachu onto a bus?
How do you get Pikachu onto a bus?
Pokemon.
Oh,
your Pokemon.
Oh dear God. Oh dear, Richard.
But yeah, that would be an interesting.
There's a lot I'd like to do in Japan. I'd like to go and look. I'd like to go and look for the Japanese wolf as well, supposedly extinct around about 1917, something like that. But people still report them, and there's even alleged photographs of them. So that's another thing I'd like to go and look at. And some of the Japanese, pardon me, the Japanese lake monsters as well. Could do a whole series about Japanese cryptozoology. There's a Sujinoko, a type of snake that is supposed to be dorso-ventrally flattened in the same way like the pancake tortoise and the chuckwallow lizard are. And it's probably some sort of pit viper from the description of it, but it's unknown to science. People still report that the thing about Japan is it's very populous, but 90% of it is mountains. I think it's the third most mountainous place in the world. So the conurbations of human population are in certain areas, and there's lots and lots of wilderness.
Well, I know
Bhutan is the most mountainous country, and Tajikistan.
I know Louis wanted to go with you.
Louis wants what?
He wants to go with you to Japan. He was saying something about love hotels.
Love hotel.
He just wants to look at.
I do have a thing for Japanese ladies.
Oh dear.
So it looks like me, Richard, and Louis are off to Japan at some point
to go to a love hotel.
I want to sleep in one of those pods to see what they're like. You get the full Japanese experience sleeping in one of those pods overnight. I just think it'd be funny.
Well, the ones where you sleep standing upright.
No, it's like a little box that you climb into. It's like climbing into a coffin.
Sounds very peculiar.
Mm.
So, Richard, if you had the chance, if Vivian was your fairy godmother and could wave her magic wand, where's the one place in the world, money no object, that you'd like to go to? Feasibility no object.
Well, there's lots of places. I'd like to go to the lakes of eastern Siberia, but that's not going to happen until Putin and his evil cronies are all dead. So that's not going to happen. Apart from that, Japan, I think.
I have a friend. I have a Russian connection, put it that way, and we were talking about Siberia,
Mhm.
and Siberia is on my bucket list, if you like, of places to go and visit in the summer. And her reaction was, "Why would you want to go to such a?" She called it a shithole. I said no, because it's synonymous for certain things, and I did explain to her. And she said, Siberia, it's vast, it is huge. So she said, you'd have to decide what part of Siberia you want to go and what you want to see and why. And just aim for that. She said, because it's days and days and days of traveling just to get there. And that just struck me. I was in awe of it, to be quite honest. When she said to me how big Siberia is, I was just like, wow, I need to go now there even more than ever. Even if I just see one little part of it, I can say I've been to Siberia.
Well, there's this lake called Lake Chani, not to be confused with Lake Chamo in Ethiopia. Lake Chani in southern Siberia, which is a very big lake. I think it's like 50 miles long by 50 miles wide, but it's quite shallow. And there's something in that lake that in the past decade or so has supposedly killed and eaten 19 people. It's supposed to ram boats, knock people into the water and eat them. And I've seen interviews with witnesses and people who've escaped when their friends have been eaten, and a woman who saw her grandson taken. And they asked for an official investigation, and the Russian government just said, oh, people are getting pissed up on vodka and drowning. But like bits of them wash up having been chewed by something. And they say whatever it is serpentine and about 30 feet long. So it sounds like a giant eel to me.
Wow.
That sounds utterly fantastic.
I was planning to go, but it all kicked off with that soulless, dead-eyed, murdering, happy shopper Hitler, Putin, invading the Ukraine, and Trump down on all fours giving him a blowjob. Yes, sir, no, sir, whatever you say, sir.
Mm, I know,
Trump,
but
Putin, and Netanyahu, I'd like to see them all dead. They're the biggest threats to world peace
I think
going at the
I
minute.
think as well they know a lot more when it comes to the cryptids, what's there, what's been reported. That their governments hold all the records of everything, and it's the likes of you, Richard, that can go out there and prove yes, this thing does exist, or I haven't come across any evidence as yet. So it's
Back in the
important
50s,
what you.
in, in the Soviet era, there was a government commission to look for the Almasty, the wild man of Russia, and the Himalayan Yeti as well. But they officially only ever did one expedition because they put a botanist in charge of it instead of a zoologist. And all he was interested in doing is looking for plants.
Yeah.
But the Snowman Commission went on unofficially, and they used to meet up at the Darwin Museum, and it was headed up by a guy called Peter Smolin, who was the head of the Darwin Museum, and Marie Jean Kaufman, the great explorer and mountaineer, spent most of her adult life on the trail of the Almasty in the Caucasus Mountains. And she died a couple of years ago, just shy of her, I think it was her 102nd birthday.
Oh, wow.
But
She
they
was
had some.
Carry on, Rich.
So I'd finished. That was my point. That in the Soviet era, it was to a certain extent taken seriously, and there was for a while a commission, even though it was poorly organised by the government and they didn't put the right people in charge. There was a commission to look for it.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been discovering recently, that one of the worst things about communist era, the Soviet Union, was it was so incredibly inefficient. It was incredibly badly organized, and everything went wrong. Not because, as the West quite often say, that communism's a bad idea. It was because everybody running it was such an idiot.
Yes, and bureaucratic as well. Because if you remember when we reprinted Boris Prushnev's Russian Snowman book, Chris said that at the start of it, there was a whole bit they cut out where he was just thanking various organisations and groups that he was supposed to kowtow to. But I found that India is incredibly bureaucratic. Applying for a visa, I mean, I think visas are a bad idea anyway. They're just a way of making money. But the website for getting an Indian visa is a nightmare. There's page after page after page of crap you have to go through, and it keeps crashing. You get right near the end and it crashes, and then you have to go back to the start again. And it's terrible. And then once you've got your visa, everywhere wants to see it, and everywhere you stop, you have to fill out more forms, and it's a real pain in the arse.
India is still quite very backward in the sense that it doesn't matter who you are, where you're going, what paperwork you've got, money will always talk, and bribery, like in Egypt, is still very much going on. Like if you want anything, you bribe an official. It's just it's bureaucratic, like you say, and if you bribe one, you're going to have to bribe the next. It's still very, very backward in that sense.
Yeah, I think that they seem to me to be obsessed with paperwork. I don't know if it's a thing left over from the British Empire or not.
Could be. Could be.
And they have terrible, terrible, terrible food. I can't stand
Depends on what
Indian
part of
food.
India.
I hate anything spicy. They put chili in butter, for Christ's sake. Oh,
Just have ghee.
oh,
It's called ghee.
it's like eating soap. It's like a mixture of soap, dog turds, drain cleaner, and lava. It's horrible. And our guide said that this might be spicy to you as a European, but I'm from the north of India, and just when you go down to the south, it's even worse. It's even too spicy for me. The most I'll do is a very mild korma or chip shop curry sauce, and that's as far as I'll go. And I'd much sooner have a nice big piece of juicy venison or something.
I think it depends. Different regions of India have different curries. And I know the region that I come from, their spice blend or their spice mix is called jeera. And it's a blend of spices that get ground up and put into curries. So that's where you get your and different heat levels as well. So it depends
Yeah.
on what
No,
part of India you
well,
go to.
the curries that I knew mainly had things like fridges and washing machines in it.
Having you on the show, Richard's like having like inviting in a copy of Wizard and Chips. Long silence.
Yeah.
Are any of us, any of the viewers old enough to remember Whizzer and Chips? I was a whiz kid. You could be a chipite or a whiz kid. I was a whiz kid because of Sam Snake. There was a strip called Sam Snake, and he was a whiz kid, and he had a reticulated python called Slippy.
Slippy.
Hi, Deborah.
A snake called Slippy. That is funny.
Well,
And
Annette,
Alan Moore, the great comic book writer Alan Moore, worships a snake god called Glykon, who is Greek.
Glycon. That sounds like a molecule, doesn't it? Like a name given to a molecule. This is glycon, part of this.
I think it sounds like the stuff
Yeah,
that goes.
it probably is because it was Greek.
Have you got the Moon and Serpent Book of Magic yet, Richard?
No, I haven't. I haven't got it yet. No, that's Alan Moore and the other Alan.
Steve,
Alan.
no, Steve Moore.
Sorry,
Steve
Moore.
Moore.
That's it. Steve Moore. Alan Moore.
Because Steve Moore was a mate of mine. I've never met Alan Moore, but Steve Moore was a lovely guy.
Can I just say, Richard, I've booked my ticket to go to the exhibition on New Year's Day. You've been to the exhibition recently in London.
Which exhibition is this? The Atrocity exhibition?
The one in the vaults.
Oh, what the? Oh yes, yeah, the occult one. Yeah.
Is there
Yes, it's
something?
very good. Very worth seeing.
Is there a bit that you? Is there anything in there that you think that I should definitely spend some time looking at in this occult museum exhibition?
Yes.
What
Yeah,
part?
there is. There's this machine. There's this machine that was built, and I can't remember what there was a name for it, and it's in the episode of On the Track because I mentioned its name, but I can't remember the name now. It
Yeah.
was a machine that was built for the dead to communicate with the living, and it was like a series of pipes and stuff that were supposed to imitate the human voice box and trachea, and it actually had animal vocal cords in it as well, and so it's like an early cyborg. And this thing was supposed to allow ghosts to talk, and I'd never seen one or heard of it before, and that was absolutely fascinating.
They had one. They had one something similar that was used in the skull experiment. They had a machine that spirit could talk through, apparently, and it's called a something generator. And I think somebody that Jonathan I think's met as well has tried to recreate it, so it can actually play you the spirit's voice in real time, so you can have a conversation. But yeah, I'll have to talk to you privately about that. It's quite interesting.
I think you ought to take Vivian to that museum in Wales.
Yeah, so look out that.
Okay. And in return, Richard, I would. You should come up here and spend like a
can't hear any
weekend.
of that, John.
Sorry?
John, yeah.
Carry on, Viv.
In return, Richard, you should spend a weekend up here, and I'll take you to Johnson's farm for the crocodiles. I don't think you heard.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this machine. Maybe get this machine, laser printed or something, and try and make, it'd be really interesting.
Have you noticed, Vivian, whenever we talk about anything particularly freaky, the connections go
Hello
down?
again.
Hello. Oh, losing him.
I think this is Richard's computer, not ours, but
Yeah.
it's exciting, isn't it, to hear about somebody who actually goes out and does this shit.
Yes. Yeah. Not just talk us about it. He actually goes out and does it.
And I think he's
Sorry,
back.
can you hear us, Richard? Thank you.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy. Bye, Andy.
I think Richard's frozen.
I think he is. Yes. Oh, no, he's back. He's jumping around.
Everybody went dead again then.
We were just saying it. Isn't it funny how you freeze when we get to some freaky stuff and some interesting stuff, and then it
Dead
goes.
again. This is a
But-
really, really crappy connection.
It's
It's
been
a
not too
Nigel
bad.
Farage of a connection.
Yes, I think that's a pretty good way of describing it.
What were you saying then when you all went dead?
That I should go with you to a museum in Wales to see some freaky stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then you should come up here and I'll take you to Johnson's and you can see the crocodiles.
Roughton's Museum of the Paranormal.
Yes.
In fact, we should probably have Laura Roughton on the show.
Yes,
Mm.
Roughton's Museum of the Paranormal. Yeah, it's great. It's a really great collection. They're, I think, in March.
They're doing what in March?
But if you look on YouTube, she's got a channel called The Paranormal Scholar.
Okay.
What's happening in March, Richard?
They reopen in March.
Ah,
They close for winter and then they reopen in March. Her YouTube channel is called The Paranormal Scholar.
and
Yes.
Nettie says she used to have the freezing thing happen whenever she spoke to Ian about Aleister Crowley. Personally, I think it's because Richard hates computers and technology, and the technology knows this and is taking its revenge on him.
But he does look very dark and mysterious, though, when he freezes.
He looks like he's straight on the left-hand path somewhere.
Yeah.
He's frozen. I think he's frozen completely there.
Yeah. But it's done well, though.
I think it's brilliant. Remember the first time we tried to have Richard on the show and we actually got about 3 words out of him before the whole thing.
This is getting fairly pointless now.
Do you want to end it there, Richard, and get
This is
some?
getting fairly pointless now.
Yeah, get some rest, Richard. And we'll get you back on the show at some point with some updates and things like that, so we can do it again.
We'll get you back on the show
next time especially if you get it working.
Next time you're with me, Richard, you can do it again, or we can even do it when I live back in Exeter again. It'll be much easier.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
But it's been great speaking to you. Yeah, no, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
That's all right. I'm getting a bit hoarse now anyway. Oh, no, I'm not going to sleep. I've got to get through probably about 1,000 emails. I'm not tired at the minute because I had a good sleep earlier on. I just need to drink some water. I'm getting a sore throat.
Yeah.
Hi, Michael. And Annette says it's been very interesting. It certainly has, Nettie, dear.
Thank you, Annette.
And we'll have you on again soon, Rich.
Yes.
I think he's
right. I'll
see you soon, mate. Then.
Bye, Richard.
Bye, mate.
Oh, bless him.
Well, I think it's absolutely fantastic in the 21st century that there are people like Richard who basically have the heart and soul of a Victorian explorer.
Yes.
And the idea that you can have somebody go out looking for giant man-eating crocodiles. And we didn't even get to the story about the man-eating crocodile in the next swamp. But we'll have Richard on again soon because he's one of my oldest friends. I love him dearly.
I hope that he does get the commissioning that he's looking for, because that would make an awesome TV show series of him. I mean, you hear about people on TV and you see it, they go on expeditions and they're meeting people. But what about like Richard's doing? He's going on expeditions and looking for these strange creatures, interesting ones.
And he's the real thing. So many of the TV explorers go to a place for 4 days, spend all that time filming, and then say, "Oh, we didn't find anything; it doesn't exist." Richard goes there for weeks on end, and I think Richard's stories are absolutely magical.
Merlin Perkins.
Who's Merlin Perkins, Bobby? I really don't know. I want to know who Merlin Perkins is.
Sounds like a good name.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds brilliant. This has been the whole show this evening. It's been sort of long silences.
But it's been worth it though to get that information from Richard when he came back, and
Yeah,
despite those long silences, it was actually really good.
I wanted to have him on the show because for the first time ever, we've got him doing an interview and he's only been back in the country less than a day. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's
Yeah,
really
it's all
important.
still fresh in his mind, isn't it? He's still trying to recover, and it's still like it's happened yesterday, sort of thing. Well, it has.
And it makes it more real in a way, doesn't it? And
Yeah,
when it's something that just happens, when it's something that isn't rehearsed and things aren't going tits up and things, when it's all rehearsed and neat and tidy and everything's not going tits up with the equipment, then it doesn't seem as real as when we have
yeah,
Richard all like this. And it's a real slice of life, and I think that's really important.
yeah. And that's really good. It's really good. But he's not saying who Merlin Perkins is, so we'd have to find out.
Yeah, come on, Bobby, who's Merlin Perkins? Or anybody, is there anybody here who knows who Merlin Perkins is? I'm not going to ask my good friend Google.
Google. If in doubt, Googly it.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom watched every Sunday before Disney came on. I think I
It must be an American thing.
well, with a name like Merlin Perkins, you'd have thought so. Hang on,
Yeah.
let's see. Merlin Perkins is an American zoologist who died in 1986. He's best known as the host of the television program Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom from 1963 to 1985. And he was still making this show until his 80th birthday. And here is Merlin Perkins feeding a baby kangaroo with a bottle.
He doesn't look much like a Merlin, does he?
No, I mean, I think if you're going to be a Merlin, you ought. I mean,
Look like you.
I've got a big beard and I've got the wizard hat. I have the wizard hat and the big beard. I look a bit more like a Merlin. He looks like a very nice, respectable old gentleman.
Yeah,
Whereas I don't think anyone would ever say I'm nice or respectable. Bobby says he's old.
he's not old.
Now, and Jim was almost getting killed with all
Wrestling.
Wrestling. I was wondering what Wrestly G was. The wild animals. Yeah, you're not old.
No,
I'm old. I'm old and
you're not
decrepit.
old. You're not old.
Bloody feel it, girl.
You can feel it, but you're not old.
I'm 10 years older than you.
You're still young.
I'm not. I'm in my dotage, woman.
No, that's when you reach your 80s.
But you don't honestly think I'm going to do that, do you?
Yeah, you are. You are. You've drunk the magic potion. There's no going back now.
Oh, God, Bobby, you're a year older than me. You are ancient.
Adamant is 71. You're just young whippersnappers.
And you are family, you want mobility. We are the family. Hey. Once again, it just goes down to you and me talking about Adam and the ants.
I just love him.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan.
Oops. just looking at private chats there, seeing what that was about.
Private chats?
Yeah,
Where's that?
on the side in the studio.
Oh.
That's between us.
Oh, just between you and me.
Me, you, and Richard. Because Richard was on there. Shall I write something to you in the private chat?
Yes, we would. Men age like wine, women age like milk. Oh, Chantal. And you're just a sweet young thing, Chantal, my love.
The lyrics to a song.
And
in a private chat.
Oh, there. That's clever. I had no idea that existed. And Richard says he likes turtle, cars go fast, and computers vote reform. He's a very strange boy, our Richard. I love him dearly, though.
You wouldn't.
That's not hyperbole. I adore Richard. Richard and Graham are like my brothers. Cottage cheese. Why are we talking about cottage cheese?
Because Chantal said, you know what they say, men age like wine, women age like milk. And Bobby meant to say cottage cheese.
And Nettie said she's feeling her age now. She could get up in the morning, no hassle last year. Now the body says get stuffed in the morning. Well, my body's been telling me to get stuffed for about 20 years now.
Oh, I've got some good news for everybody. I spoke to a young man. In fact, I spoke to two young men last night, but a young man last night by the name of Daniel Winter.
Oh, yeah. How is
he? He's doing very well. And I think we're just getting Christmas out of the way and he may be back on air. But yeah, he's doing really, really well. So he wishes everybody the best and a happy Christmas to everybody. But he will be back. And he misses his ghost hunting, so we're doing that like there's no tomorrow to come next year. So, yeah, he's doing okay, and he sends special love to Jonathan and Ed. And I can't believe he said this. He called Graham Ed Gein. I said he's not Ed Gein. He's just the serial killer. So yeah, he'll be back, but he's missed you like mad. So
well, I'm very fond of him. I wish he'd hurry up and come back on the show.
Yeah.
And here, Chantal, once again, she's saying, I can't believe people trust me to do things like drive a car, have a bank account, and pay rent. I just want to build my blanket forts and colour in. My dear, I still build my blanket forts, and I would colour in if it wasn't the fact that I haven't got anything to colour with. So, what a sad old.
I can send you these.
Oh, what are they? Chunky
crayons.
Oh, golly, thank you. Oh, has your Christmas present arrived yet, young lady?
Yes, I haven't opened it though.
Well, of course not. It's not Christmas yet.
So, yes, it arrived the same day as a little packet, which was a square, and I had to open the square. I couldn't not, which was a CD that I ordered because it had just been re-released, and I just had to have it for my collection.
Chantal, you're a sweetie pie. So, what is the CD you wanted for your collection?
It's the Adam and the Ants, the singles collection. And I have it.
Has it got all
Another
the
version. It's another version of it. So they bought it out before. They re-released it, so I bought that again.
Has it got the really obscure early ones that are on Do It records, like the single version of Car Trouble and stuff?
Yes,
Oh,
and
I
it's the
fucking
original
love
version. The original version of Xerox, the Xerox.
the rock machine.
That one, yeah, that's all on there. Yeah. Annette wants to know, are we having a spooky Christmas special? Well, we wasn't going to, was we?
Well, we could if you like. If enough people want a spooky Christmas special, we could do it, couldn't we?
When is Christmas Eve? I don't even
Hang
know.
on.
Oh, hang on.
I think
I've got a
Christmas
calendar.
Eve. Christmas Eve is next week.
Next Wednesday,
Yeah.
is it?
Yes.
I think we should get Nettie.
I'm up for it if anybody else wants to do. If you want to do it, love, I haven't got any family around or anything. Isabel's coming over on Christmas Day, but I haven't got any family, and it's only me and Graham in the house Christmas Eve. So, although I might quite possibly be stoned, I'm quite happy to do a Christmas episode if you want to do one.
What are you doing next Wednesday, Nettie?
Again, long silences everywhere. By the way, what can you send me? Have you got any guests ready for next year?
Oh, we'll need the new calendar. Yeah, I'll get that sorted for you.
Because we're going to have Nigel, and I'll come on. Might have had a few, but I'll do it. I might have had a few. I don't even drink anymore, but I might down half a bottle of brandy before we go on or something. Joke for the day. What does a burnt pizza, frozen in pregnant lady have in common? All of them get pulled out too late. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh,
Wow.
She's funny. I like that one.
I like Chantal. She's an absolute pop.
She's amazing, isn't she?
She's an absolute poppet, that girl. The first Saturday, Wednesday that we're free in the new year, we have got not only veteran 14 investigator, UFO person, and I believe alien abductee, Nigel Wright, but I've also bullied his wife to come on.
Oh, brilliant.
So we hear from Sue Wright what it's like living with a UFO nutcase like Nigel.
That'd be
Nigel's
brilliant.
an old friend of mine. I've known him for years and years and years, 30 odd years.
Yeah.
He's lovely. So he's coming on, I think, the first one in the new year that we've got free. And then we've got the lovely Brigitte Barclay, who is a very glamorous lady, ex-model.
Oh, that's the lady. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of earlier today.
I didn't realise I was supposed to ask her to do this week, and I didn't.
But it doesn't matter. We'll get her on.
I didn't even know Richard was back in England. I didn't know Richard was back in England until this morning when I noticed on my answer phone that he'd left a message. And oh bloody hell, you're back in England, are you, buddy? So
yeah, it's good to have him.
Yeah, we've got to have him on the show because it's serendipity to be able to do something like that.
And we'll try and get V on, and anyone that of the co-hosts that want to do it, we'll try and get them on, and we'll just have a bit of a blast on Christmas Eve.
So we'll just talk. So it'll be tis
We
the
should have a quiz.
season to talk bollocks. Tra la la la
La
la.
la 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 la. So we will be back next Wednesday.
We will be back next Wednesday, and I will see if any of the CFZ co-hosts, if Ian, I spoke to V earlier. He's
Yeah.
on better form than he was. He's better than he was. Oh
Okay.
God, I'm getting tired.
Right, we better end the show.
No, what's the? Oh Christ! On a bike, we should have ended 10 minutes ago. And Glenn says he's working Christmas Eve into the pub afterwards.
Do you know what? I'd love to get Glenn on a show. It'd be brilliant. I'll sing for Dan if he ever comes back on. Right, I'll hold you to that.
Why don't you sing for me, Chantal, my love?
Dan's her first love. You're her second. Oh no, they've got Parker in between that. I think it's Parker's number one.
Yeah, I'm back down in third place at least. I think the skeleton in the corner of the room's probably before me.
No, that's my boyfriend down there. Leave him alone.
Oh, that's your boyfriend, not Chantal's.
Yeah, his name is Iggy Pop. In fact, I think he's better looking than Iggy Pop, to be honest. Both got the same physique. Sorry.
Oh, I'm still having an Iggy in the Stooges song played at my funeral. So.
Right, time to go. Are you going to press the button?
I will. Bye bye, everybody. Time to go home. Time to go home from your simply spooky adrenaline ride. Time to go home. Time to go home. Even if you're terrified. Goodbye. Time to go home, time to go home. Vivian and her weird friends are all going home. Time to go home, time to go home. Vivian is waving goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.